Hello, Thomas Malchow here, and in this video we're discussing the IT band and vastus lateralis and how dysfunction in these two structures reduces our distance off the tee, contributes to swing faults, and can cause injuries. First, a little anatomy lesson. The IT band is not a muscle and it is not a tendon. It's actually a very thick band of fascia, which is kind of like tendon, at least functionally, but it differs structurally in that it's made from layers of sheets rather than being more of a rope type structure like tendon is. The IT band originates posteriorly from the gluteus maximus and anteriorly from the tensor fascia lata. It runs down the lateral aspect of our thigh and then inserts into the lateral condyle of our tibia. The function of the IT band is to transfer the force generated by our glutes or by our tensor fascia lata down our thigh to our lower leg. Now, most of us spend a lot of time sitting, and because of that, our hip flexors become short and overactive. The tensor fascia lata is one of 9 muscles that comprise the hip flexor complex. So when it becomes short and overactive, it pulls on the IT band anteriorly, which then tugs on the tibia, causing the tibia to externally rotate, which causes relative internal rotation of the femur, driving the knees in, which then causes the feet to flatten and turn out. Now, vastus lateralis is the largest of the 4 quadricep muscles. It originates up at the greater trochanter of our hip, kind of wraps around the femur a little bit, and then inserts into the patella, which then inserts into the tibial tuberosity. Now, it too has a tendency to become overactive, and the reason for that, again, has to do with the short and overactive hip flexors. When you have a short and overactive muscle on one side of a joint, you will automatically have a long and underactive muscle on the opposite side of that joint. And in the case of the hip flexors, when they become short and overactive, the gluteus maximus becomes long and underactive. Now, the gluteus maximus is responsible for hip extension, so we lose some ability to generate force during hip extension. In response to that, our body recruits other muscles. Now, although vastus lateralis does not cross the hip, it is one of the muscles that the body recruits to generate hip extension. And the reason for that is because it is such a powerful knee extensor. And knee extension is relative hip extension. Now, when vastus lateralis becomes overactive, it too tugs on the tibia, externally rotating it, causing the femur to internally rotate, pushing the knee in, driving our feet down and flat and out. Now, that posture is called lower extremity dysfunction, and it's associated with a ton of injuries: plantar fasciitis, Achilles issues, anterior knee pain, patellofemoral syndrome, ACL injuries, hamstring strains, and low back pain are all associated with this posture. This posture also causes a ton of swing faults, most prominently a sway or a slide. And again, it's because you have a reduced ability to stabilize your lower extremities. Now, it also reduces your distance off the tee because it hurts your ability to generate power. Biomechanically, what that means is it reduces your ability to concentrically accelerate supination and eccentrically decelerate pronation. Both of those movements are vitally important during your swing sequence. Now, vastus lateralis has a high percentage of type 2 muscle fibers, which means that it has a tendency to hypertrophy rather quickly, and in doing so, pushes out against the IT band, pulling it even tighter, but more importantly, causing the IT band to kind of stick to it. Now, the IT band has an ability to store and recover an enormous amount of elastic energy, but when it gets stuck to vastus lateralis, it loses a lot of that elasticity. So, knowing all of that, what can we do about it? Well, again, we're going to turn to our foam roller here. Now, what I just described is obviously a lot of dysfunction and would require quite a sophisticated intervention involving multiple joints. Now, we're going to focus our attention in this video on releasing vastus lateralis. The IT band itself doesn't have any trigger points because it's not a muscle, it's fascia. So you would release the IT band up at tensor fascia lata up here, which we've done in a previous video. This video, again, we're focusing on vastus lateralis, which is the entire lateral aspect of our thigh. So we'll place the foam roller on the ground here. Now I'm going to survey the entire length of my thigh, looking for the most tender spot. Oof, I found it. Now, the most tender spot is the spot with the most adhesions, and those adhesions are what we are targeting. The pressure applied by the foam roller activates mechanoreceptors inside the muscle, encouraging that muscle to relax. Now, with all of our release techniques, we hold them for 30 seconds to 2 minutes or until you feel a release. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for watching.